Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OzByDrone. It's that time of the week again. I'm Greg.
And I'm John. Hi, everybody. Big show for you this week. Great guests, some great video footage too, and lots of things happening.
Absolutely. We've got a great guest, and we're going to ask a question. You know, some other people on their shows ask, would you ride it? We're not going to talk about, well, we could do that later on. There's some good videos for that as well. But would you walk over this slack line? We've got a daredevil, and our guest today was doing the filming for that, and it's some really amazing footage. So would you walk over the line is a question we'll ask of you all later. Other stories we're going to have a look at today, a couple of them. Let's just quickly talk about them. We're going to have a look at the birds in Australia. We all know that the wildlife in Australia is pretty dangerous, so that's going to be an interesting one. We're going to have a look at some aircraft inspection by drone. We're going to have Dolly Parton. Did you hear that? Dolly Parton's on the show.
Boom, boom. I'm not leaving. I'm staying.
Okay, we've got some volcanic swimming. We've got some election video. Yes, we're going to talk about the election, but not the one that you think about. We're also going to have a look at a rescue drone. We're going to have a look at someone who's doing a sling of the patient beneath the drone. That one's going to be interesting to see, and lots more. But before we get into the news, what's happening for you this week, John?
Well, you know, first off, I got to give a big shout out to my friends at Camzilla. There it is, camzilla.com.au. Now, I get all my stuff from them, and I got to tell you, today, the manager of the store's not open on the Saturday, COVID time. The manager came from his house. My aircraft arrived yesterday. I couldn't pick it up. And I got the brand new Phantom 4 RTK. There it is. I've just opened the box. Still got the plastic on it. But you know what's great? The reason I want to shout out is because when you buy anything from there, you get lifetime technical support. And I believe that's lifetime for the aircraft, not mine. Don't know which is going to be longer in this case. However, you know, being able to pick the phone up and talk to someone, and they have a whole repair shop there. And so if you're like me and you don't like, you know, waiting to hold music, chatting online, talking to someone, you know, might be in another country or whatever, you want to pick up the phone locally and talk to someone right away that knows your first name, Camzilla are the guys. So I just want to give a big shout out to them, but check them out. Best prices you'll get as well, but most importantly, such good technical support. Camzilla.com.au. There's our first ad, and I'm very happy to recommend them to anybody. And they'll ship anywhere, of course, in the world, really. But certainly for people where in Sydney or Australia particularly, give them a try. They're great guys and very good to deal with. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. I got a new airplane.
Yeah, we're going to have to get them to come on the show at some point as well. And yeah,
it's a great idea. One, you know, the tech thing is really good too, because often if I've got DJI Care Refresh and you're thinking, well, should I send it back to DJI? I don't do that. I take it straight to Camzilla and they'll tell me. I'll say, look, you know, we'll look at it. We can fix it. We can do this or just adjust it for you. And they look after you, you know, right away. And if they say, look, that's a Care Refresh, let's get it done, and off it goes, and they handle everything. So I just drop off the drone. Next thing I get a phone call, come and pick it up. It couldn't be easier. So let's get them on the show and talk about that side of the industry, because a lot of people love to have that feeling, sleep well at night, knowing that when you've got some expensive toys, that you've got someone's got your back. Basically, that's what it is. Someone's got your back.
Who knows? We may have a new sponsor. And speaking of which, let's cut that music and go to one of our regular sponsors. Oops, that was the wrong one. I'll try that button.
Cymbal crash. Boom, tish.
Yeah. OzByDrone News is supported by NoLimitDrones. Do you feel like your drone is weighed down by chains when you're flying? Well, take the chains off and fly without limitations. Check out NoLimitDrones.com for more information. You like the music there, John?
I do. Jazz, you got me. I'm there.
Yeah. No Limit Drones, just for those people who don't know, you can turn off a lot of things that DJI try and restrict you with on their drone. You can tweak all the parameters, kind of like beta flight for DJI is the way I like to explain it. You can adjust anything the way you want it. So do go check it out, NoLimitDrones.com. There is a link in the description. So let's go and cut that music. Boing. and we're going to get into the news. And our first news story today would be this one. So we've been talking about Autel last week, and it appears that Autel is working on a bevy of new products, the Evo 3, the Evo Lite, and the Nano Mini drones. The later two have been caught on video. The vision was found on TikTok in September in Shenzhen, China. In the video, we can see the Autel booth at an exhibition where a representative is showing off various drones to a visitor. We see the Dragonfish VTOL drone and the various iterations of the Evo 2 series, including the newly introduced Enterprise series, before the camera turns to a bunch of other smaller drones hiding in plain sight.
一家无人机公司会有多少款无人机呢？大家好，我是贝贝，今天我带大家到道通智能去参观一下吧。大家好，我是舒克，先给大家介绍3款龙鱼无人机。
Now, I was going to get Ken Heron to do a translation of this, but you've just got to laugh.
Lloyd can do that. He's got that covered.
这个橙色的是 Evo 2系列，分别是 Evo 2、Evo 2 Pro、Evo 2 Dual 60T、Evo 2 RTK、Evo 2行业版。这个黑色的箱子是 Evo 2的防爆箱。哎，这些又是什么呀？哎，还没发布呢。
Just ignore those. Just ignore those.
You see the way he covers it up at the end there? Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. That was very funny. I'm sure he was doing it in quite a comical way. Just so you know, the last one he was going to show you there, we did make some inquiries about that, and that's a pretty penny. The Autel Dragonfish, currently $240,000 if you want one. But I think you get a spare set of wings as well, which would be nice, you know, to have some spares with it. So, man, that's a lot of coin, but it's a great aircraft too. So Autel doing good things in the robotics world.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of new drones and all of that kind of stuff, we couldn't go by without talking about DJI for just a moment, in particular the Mavic 3. Release date is set for November, according to a leaked announcement photo that was shared on Twitter. The split photo seemingly confirms the dual camera setup of the DJI Mavic 3 Pro, as the new DJI drone will be officially called. The dual camera contains a wide angle and zoom lens connected to the gimbal. Some rumours indicate that the aircraft is set to replace the Phantom series when it comes to market. Now
I hope you're noticing the date, Greg, because if you go back and check the logs, 3 weeks ago, I said September 24, something will be happening. I thought it was going to be released. Then I put it off again. What was the date yesterday when it was that manual was released and leaked? September 24, pretty much right on the equinox. I don't want to sort of blow my own trumpet here at all, but you know, we could see this coming. Everyone was following what was there. We've got some pretty good data now. I think you've got a video of it flying, have you, Greg? Well, I haven't seen.
You know what? I tell you what, John. I got the video and I forgot to put it in this playlist. But I tell you what. You keep talking about what you do know about it, and I'll see if I can get the video queued up.
Well, one of the other exciting things that we know is it's got a longer flight time. So this is going to be a bit of a tit for tat, and it's nice to put Autel and DJI back to back here. We see that the Autel's got around 45 minutes they're advertising. If you fly on the aircraft, you know, you get about 40 minutes or so in normal conditions. And that's great. That's a lot of extra time, you know, in terms of percentage of what we're used to with our Mavic 2s and Phantoms. The new Mavic 3 has listed a 46-minute flight time. You could honestly expect to get your 40 minutes in most conditions out of it. But remember, that's sort of landing with no fuel on board. But, you know, DJI is obviously trying to come up to the plate here. Now, I've seen some people commenting that they think that the 5.2K camera is not real. It's going to be 8K, and that this is being held back. But I got a feeling that it might be a real 5.2K video that we're going to get here, because I know Autel use a little bit of, you know, software magic, and I don't know much about that, but I know a lot of the manufacturers are using computer enhancement to get this type of resolution. But if this is a 4/3 camera with 5.2K video, it will be a very nice aircraft for those that love to take their aerial photography. It'll be a nice solid aircraft. They've adjusted the obstacle avoidance sensors. They've removed the side sensors on the aircraft, and they've angled the front and rear sensors out to cover more of the sideways area. Always been a problem because, if you've been moving sideways, the obstacle avoidance on the Mavic 2 and the Phantom is not real good in the sideways movement. So there's room for improvement there. And they're obviously looking for this Skydio type ability to navigate as well. So we haven't seen anything like that yet. It's going to have Skydio type thing. So how'd you go with the video, mate?
I didn't get video. It was a photo. Let's just quickly put that back on the screen so you can see it there in front of that tree.
I reckon it's resting in that tree. It's not really flying. I mean, I can see it's a tree. It's in a branch. I mean, some of my aircraft end up like that.
Yeah, possibly.
Anyway, that's great news. So we will be on top of that. I know Ken's show had some material on it as well. And look, it's all really, really good stuff that we're going to follow and anticipate another nice aircraft to come out. Been more than 2 years since they've upgraded the Mavic 2 Pro. And also, Greg, you mentioned too, this is like a combination. It's got a 7 times telephoto zoom lens as well as the other camera. So you've got like the blend of the zoom and the Pro together from the Mavic. And I think that's what people really, really were after as well. They didn't know what to buy. I like the zoom. I like the, So it's going to be a nice new toy.
So in a nutshell, this is DJI basically taking the Pro and the zoom, and the Mavic 3 is the love child of both of them together in terms of the camera. That was a smart thing to do, I think.
There's a bit of magic in it too in the weight. The weight's only 970 grams. So you would expect an aircraft, now the Autel Evo is heavier than that. So these guys have reduced the weight, increased the flight time. Obviously more advancement in ESCs is the way to do that. Better, more efficient motors and so forth, and props, just drawing less current. It's going to be exciting. So look forward to it.
Absolutely. Look, I just encourage our viewers watching at the moment, if you've got any comments or you've got any rumours about the product, go and share that in the chat. Have a little bit of a discussion. Yeah. John and I will respond to a couple of those as we go through today.
Yep. Love to have some questions on that.
Absolutely. In the meantime, we're going to move on to our next story, which is, everyone's looked at drone inspections, and we've previously looked at indoor aircraft inspection when you're doing work on a large style aircraft. Well, this is outdoor. Mainblades has performed the first European fully automated outdoor airport drone inspection of a commercial aircraft at an active airfield in we've got a Wonsdrect. Wonsdrect. If anyone knows how to say that, you're better than me. Wonsdrect, Netherlands. To validate the increasing interest for outdoor airport drone inspections, Mainblades used an M300, which we're all familiar with, to inspect the Airbus A330. We've got lots more information there about that, but let's go to the video.
Our vision at Mainblades is to have a drone at every airport in the world so that all aircraft inspections can be performed with our drones. My name is Dejan Borata. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Mainblades. And we're here with Mainblades today to do an automated aircraft inspection outdoor at the Woensdrecht airport.
It's an active airport with both civil and military aviation taking place. And due to the environment we have here from the Dutch Drone Center Avialanda, which is a test and demonstration facility, we can do it almost at the same time. This time it's several customers coming together here. The aircraft owner, Corker Technique, the MRO company, and Mainblades, the service provider for both.
So let me just cut forward a little bit if I can.
On the tailplane. So this day is more or less used to explore.
To see what the inspection results are from a Mainblades drone, please contact.
There we go.
Especially when you can fly outside, that's a big benefit.
So John, aircraft inspection, good use case?
Absolutely. Inside the hangar will be good too. That's a fairly large aircraft. I know that another German company was using minis and so forth, just basically to climb up the rudder and do pre-flight inspections as well. But in the hangar, they're very handy. I can imagine being on top of the tail end of a scaffold and wanting to climb around the aircraft. Well, if you're sitting there and you've got a camera with you, you can obviously catalog, take photos, work with all the things that you need by having a drone do the job. Great idea. But that's just an aeroplane. Imagine all the other things we can inspect that are hard, difficult to get to. You can't climb on. You can't climb around an aircraft. You've got to have a scaffold. So there are lots of sensitive things like this that make so much sense. And so you're going to see the inspection scene just balloon like crazy. It's a big deal,
Okay. Let's move on to our next story. And that is, by the way, could I ask Grumpy, I'm getting a lot of hiss in the background. I don't know if it's from John's mic or yours, but...
I'll mute, see if it is.
Oh, I think it is you. Okay, we'll worry about that next week.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't me.
Okay, let's get on with it. We'll leave the hiss in the background. John, you just got a snake there you got to go and take care of. So this next one is a manned drone, and Cambodian students have created a prototype drone complete with a school chair for the pilot seat, which is currently capable of carrying one person, but they hope in the future to be able to carry passengers. Now, this is a case of, the famous would you ride it scenarios. I was talking earlier about would you walk the tightrope, but in this case, would you ride in that drone? It's good to see some young students in different parts of the world going and developing this, but I don't know about having that many propellers at chest height.
Anytime you've got to put a crash helmet on, you've got to ask yourself a few questions. I think there are, but look, what a lot of fun. And boy, if I wish I'd gone to that school. Well, my life would have been very different. Look at them go. That's great. I'd love to know how they've set up the controls, whether the pilot is actually flying it or perhaps someone on the ground is just moving it around with a transmitter. Might be safer. Keeping the electronics away from all those motors. But anyway, you'd want to have some good trust in your mates. But I think that's great. I mean, this is air mobility. It's going to be a whole new thing. And maybe in Cambodia, there's not the restrictions they have here, because if we do that here, as we know, CASA will come knocking on the door.
Let's, after this story, we'll pause it there. We'll finish it there. We've got the idea. But speaking of CASA, there was some announcements this week about ATSB safety reporting. We had already done a kind of a preemptive message about that, but what are the changes in brief?
Look, I haven't gone right through the legislation. The Vice Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, I should say, issued this into Parliament the other day, and it's actually called Air Transport Safety Regulations 2021. So they've rewritten the whole lot. They've called an RPA or a drone a Type 2 aircraft, and they've put a whole lot of guidelines around it. So they just don't want to know, and we had no guidance before. It said in the regulations before they had this stuff, if your propeller strikes something, you've got to fill out a 2-page report. Well, they'd be completely swamped by it with the prop strikes and so forth that we have. So what they've done is they've taken the very light aircraft out, so small and very small RPAs aren't required unless they injure a person. So if there's no injuries involved, then they only want to know if the larger aircraft have mechanical failures or problems or run out of fuel and so forth. So I'll have a little bit of a poke around.
I did have a quick read yesterday. Let me give you my take and see if it matches what you've got. You've got the really, really super big ones for a start, the industrial. Then you've got another category, and I can't remember the weight differentiation beneath that next category where its reporting is also compulsory. Then you've got something that would be in the existing excluded category or the sub 250. in that category, if it is being used commercially under a REOC, you have to report. If it's not being used under a REOC and you're an excluded category pilot, you don't have to tell anyone anything.
That's correct. And also, notice there are two types of reporting. We have what we call IRMs, which are immediately reportable matters, and we have routinely reportable RRMs. So routinely reportable matters. So you have 24 hours to do an immediate, 72 hours to do a routine, and they're classified. It's all laid out there. But one of the best ways to do it these days is go on the website if you want to report something, and you've had particularly a large drone crash and during agriculture work or something, or it's had an element of public safety. Fill it out. The best thing to do always in this is just self-declare. And we know CASA loves this. So if they hear there's an incident somewhere and someone reports it, and it comes back and they go chasing you down, and they see that you've gone onto the ATSB website and you've done a little bit of reporting, here's what happened, here's my side of the story, self-declare gets you off the hook. It's like when you're coming into an airport and you declare what you have in your luggage. If you tell them that you got bags and bags of illegal substances, that's okay. You just got to surrender it, but you're not arrested. You don't declare it. So self-declaring is an important process in working with the regulator. And I'd love to hear what Ken thinks about that. But anyway, but it's one of those things that I think is a good idea to acknowledge the mistake or what the accident was, so that CASA don't have to go digging around. And it's procedure. Under a REOC. So as you say, excluded categories left out of it. That makes perfect sense. We're going to have a lot of excluded category ops. Anyway, I think that that covers it. We'll find more and bring it in coming weeks if it's appropriate and applicable.
Absolutely. Now, we mentioned Dolly Parton at the top of the show, and this is where we're going to talk about Dolly. Van Buren Acres is a family-owned and operated corn farm where they've got a corn maze and also a pumpkin farm in Hebron, Ohio. It is known for its corn maze and pumpkin crops. The video showcases the current Dolly Parton corn maze. The farm is open for all of your amazing exploration or pumpkin picking needs. We need some country music here. There we go. So what do you reckon? Are you going to have a walk around Dolly when you go out there one day? You're muted, I think, John.
Well, I think Dolly Parton likes jazz too. So
she likes jazz?
I think she does.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty clever.
But you have a look at it in more detail and you actually see that there is a square bit on one side of the maze. You enter on one place, you can only go out one way, and you get to follow Dolly's curves around.
There you go. You were going to go there. Lloyd's nodding and saying, yeah, well, someone was going to go there. I happen to know that, not personally, but Dolly Parton is absolutely one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. And I know many musicians that have worked with her, and apparently she's an absolute darling. So that's what I'm going to say about Dolly.
Good to hear. Lloyd, you've got something you're wanting to say?
He wants to say that if she's on my boat, she doesn't need to wear a life vest.
They left out some of the best parts of Dolly. I mean, they showed her from the neck up and then put the big bow into place, and I think it was definitely out of proportion. There was some of her best attributes were not being used in that particular corn maze.
Well, there you go. He went there.
Okay.
Thanks, Lloyd. I'm glad it was you.
Now, I've got to ask our guest, how do you possibly follow a corny story about Dolly? And the answer is we bring our guest in.
Yay.
Laurent, hello and welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thanks for being our guest. I actually saw your video come up in my feed some time ago, or one of your videos, and I reached out to you wanting to come in. But let's start at the basics. You're currently living in New Zealand, but you used to live in Australia, and your accent, I don't think, sounds like either Aussie or New Zealand. What's the story?
Yeah, my accent is, I'm from France, and I've been living in New Zealand in Christchurch for the past 6 years now, almost. And before that, I have lived in Sydney for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's yeah.
And what was the initial motivation to leave France? I mean, Australia is just too good and New Zealand's even better?
Yeah, maybe something like that. I was working in Australia, and then I went back to France, and then I decided to go on a pretty long trip through Russia and China and Southeast Asia, and then I made my way to New Zealand, and I've been here ever since. I mean, I went back to France to visit, but I've lived here, for the past 6 years.
Okay, and so let's now talk about your flying. What do you fly? What's your aircraft that you fly?
At the moment, I fly a DJI Mavic Pro, first version.
Okay. Have you had any other aircraft before?
Yes, I actually started flying drones when the very first Phantom came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was back in March 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So it started from there, and then from there I've always flown drones. I've had Phantom 1 and then a Phantom 3. And then a DJI Mavic Pro. So yeah, I haven't changed drones many times, but
okay.
I've had one.
Okay. Now at this point, I'm going to bring up your video and we'll talk over the top of it. Let's just have a look at this.
Sure.
Oops, where are we? There we go. So this is a Highline adventure, you've titled it. Now, can you tell me briefly, where is this for a start? It's in New Zealand?
So this is in New Zealand in the Banks Peninsula, which is about 90 minutes drive from Christchurch. And this is on a private property. So I met the owners a few years ago. And one day I went to this particular spot and I took a photo with my drone. And one of my friends who does Highline straight away asked me and commented on the photo and asked me if we could rig a Highline there. And then from there, that's how the project started. And then I don't know, like maybe 9 or 10 months after that, that's when we were able to make it happen.
Some amazing footage. Now, your friend, you said, was doing Highline before, and have you done it before yourself, or?
No, I've never been on that. I've done some slackline, but I've never been on a Highline, and I'm not planning on doing it.
So what's the difference between Highline and slackline? I don't know these things.
It's really, well, it's the height, really. That's the main difference, obviously. So the slackline mostly be between two trees, and you can have, like, I don't know, maybe 50 or 50 centimeters or a meter above the ground, some are a bit higher. And then the Highline will most likely between two cliffs, because they can be 60, 30, or I don't know. This one, for example, was about 120 meters above the ground, above the ocean.
Okay. I'm just reading our viewers. One of them here, Aki Rasho, says no amount of money is going to get him to do that.
Yeah, that's about how I feel as well.
John, what do you think? Have you done any? We know about your daredevil exploits with your rocket ship.
You know, I've abseiled and I've done. I don't mind the heights. I mean, I'm naturally afraid of heights, and it's good being a pilot all your life and being afraid of heights. It's very healthy. But take yourself back to the earlier story, Greg. If you had a choice now between flying the Cambodian school project or the Highline, which one of those would you choose?
Oh, I guess because at least on this one, they've got two lines across there. Am I correct? They've got two lines. They've got one which is a safety line that you harness to something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But see, this one you want to be exciting. The other one you don't want to be exciting. The least amount of excitement possible when you're flying in an aircraft. So I think it's great. You know, good way to promote something too. You know, the way you've done that, Laurent. You know, just having that video out there puts it on the world map for everyone to see and also experience. I mean, yeah, if we're never going to do it, the best way is to actually have it. You know what you'd love, Laurent, is the FPV, the DJI FPV. Putting on the goggles and diving down places like that is so much fun. So when you're looking to upgrade another aircraft, have a think about that one. For adventure filming, FPV is the way to go for sure.
You know, Aki Rasho said he would prefer the school project because after all, they had a helmet. Trevor also said, I will take the school project. Zebmeet, just whoa. So far, the school project is actually winning it. But, you know, I've got a couple of other stories later on in the show that people have got to check out that involve people and drones. So maybe your opinion will change after them. So what else do you film? Like, people are getting a link to your channel put out in the chat room right now. They're sending a link to that. What else? What other kind of footage can we expect to see on your channel?
It's mostly outdoors and landscapes. Footage. I've traveled quite a bit, like this trip I did before I arrived in New Zealand. I traveled to a few countries before, and I was traveling around with my drone. So there's some footage of different countries, but it's mostly outdoors and landscape footage.
Okay. And where do you see yourself going in terms of the future? Are you happy with that aircraft? Have you heard much about the new Mavic 3? Are you into exploring new airframes?
Yeah, in the last few months, I seriously thought about upgrading my drone, and so I was looking at the Mavic 2 Pro, but I wasn't sure, I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do it because I thought that a Mavic 3 would come out soon, and now it's been pretty much announced, not officially, but everyone knows that it will come
around the corner
soon. Yeah, so I probably hold on to that and buy the Mavic 3 when it comes out.
Okay.
I think it's time for an upgrade. Mavic Pro is a great drone, but it's starting to get old.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of fun. Now, we've reached that point of the show. Thank you for sharing that. And I do encourage our viewers to go and check out your channel. If you like the content over there, do subscribe. There's a link to Laurent's channel, both in the chat and also in the description for the video if you're watching the replay. But before we say goodbye to Laurent, there's something that we do with our guests on a regular basis, and we can't do Stump the Yank, and I can't change the intro audio, but we are going to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to play Stump the Yank.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We like to have a bit of fun, and it's time to do that right now. It's the part of the show where we go and poke fun at Australia and at our guests, and we play Squash the Frog.
Very imaginative.
We're
got that this morning, Greg, didn't you? That's great.
Yeah.
We're going to do something different because, as he says, he has lived in Australia and lives in New Zealand. So I've decided to mix things up, and all of you are going to have to try this. So
okay.
I'm going to use some terms from my part of the world.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm ready.
First off, what are goobers?
Goobers.
Are they idiots? Are they nuts? Or are they a favorite Southern beer?
That would be idiots.
I'm going to go with one as well, based on the type of question you would ask. Are we right? What do you reckon, Laurent?
I would say the second one. Which one was it again?
Nuts.
Nuts. Or peanuts, yeah.
Peanuts, yeah.
He's absolutely right. Goobers or goober peas are peanuts.
Ah, there you go.
Laurent, our guest, has got 1 point, and we're on 0.
Yep.
Oh, he's stumping us. Go again,
okay.
Grumpy. This is good.
Now here's one. What is a frog gig or frog gigging?
Frogging. Like catching frogs? Oh, no, you're going to give us the choice. Give us the choices.
Okay. Is a frog gig a special mixed drink that is green? Is it is it a spear, a frog gig, or is it a special way of fixing frog legs, dipped in a batter or something?
My wife is saying number one, and I can't disagree with her. So
Yeah, I'm thinking 1, 2.
Yeah, I'll go number 1, 2.
Yeah, we're going number 1.
Actually, a frog gig or frog gigging is the way we catch frogs here in the South. You stand on the front of your flat bottom boat and a rail around you, and you take this 3-pronged spear and you chuck it at the frogs and catch
Frogging.
the frogs. Yeah,
I mean,
it's frogging.
yeah, it's just like yabbying we have here. You guys do the same thing.
We call them
catch.
But a frog gig is the actual 3-pronged spear, and frog gigging is the act of
using it.
Frogs. It's usually done at night.
Yeah. We don't use a spear in a boat. In Australia, what we do is we use a car, and when they're crossing the road, you can line them up, and the aim is to get as many as you can in one run. And
you've heard of cane toads, haven't you, Grumps?
Cane toads?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're poisonous. They're feral.
Oh,
animals.
yeah.
I mean, that's the type of frog.
Well, and that kind of goes with my next question. What is redneck caviar? Is it roadkill? Is it fish bait? Or is it a type of meat?
I'm going 2.
I'm going fish bait as well.
I'll have to go 1 just so that we've got a chance of one of us winning.
So what did you pick?
We
Laurent?
picked
What did you pick?
I put bait, the fish bait.
bait.
Okay. Actually, it's a type of meat.
Oh, you got some.
Potted meat.
Basically like spam.
Yeah, spam. Yeah.
Oh, no. This is better than spam. This is like a spread. Yeah, this is like a spread. This is a southern version of Vegemite for us.
What?
Oh, no.
Actually, what is it? Is it meat?
It's let's see, it's got pork and chicken and whatever else they can sweep off the slaughter room floor, and they pack it. And now this has been in the refrigerator, this can here, because we just had sandwiches last night. But
so you eat that stuff? I mean, we give that to our dog.
No, man, it's what it looks like us. Yeah,
I'm convinced.
So look,
redneck caviar.
Redneck caviar. I just want to say, Laurent, thank you for being brave enough to listen to those questions. And redneck caviar, I'll remember that one. Look, thank you for being with us. Do come back another time. If you've got anything amazing you want to share, let us know, and we'll chuck it up and share it with our audience. And again, reminder to our audience, do go check out the link in the description and go check out Laurent's channel.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Thanks, Lloyd.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice meeting you. Very nice meeting you.
Yeah,
nice to meet you guys.
Okay. Now we're going to move on. Sorry, John.
I'm just going to say I thought that was really cool to have a different kind of question today. That because we always know the Australian ones, and I mean we could count on Lloyd to have them kind of things out of it. Redneck caviar. I mean, we got to keep that one and use it again, because that's an absolute beauty, particularly for an Australian guest. Because it all sorts of ideas,
Look, before we go, just
work today.
Yeah, just one more before we go, Laurent. I've got to ask you, and Lloyd or John, you can come up with the 3 answers between the 3 of you. What is a corker?
Corker.
It's 2 things in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, well, I think I know. A corker can be.
Well, you know what it is, but you got to give him one of the two choices, or actually give him 2 of the choices. I'll come up with the 3rd one.
Are you thinking cricket, Laurent? Are you got the cricket one? Have you heard of a corker in cricket? Have I got that right? No,
That's one of them. Yeah, it is. It's something. It's a good stroke. It's a corker of a shot because you've got cork in a cricket bat and you're hitting it out of the park as a corker.
Corker, yeah. And
or a character, a person who's a bit of a character.
I thought it when it hits you right in the thigh, in the side of the thigh, that's corking too. Isn't that a corker? When you get your thigh, am I imagining that? I can't.
It is a cork thigh, but it's not really Aussie slang. This one,
no.
A corker is definitely
means great. Yeah,
something that's great, or a corker of a shot hitting it out of the park. That's where it came from.
Not redneck caviar. That is not corker food, right?
All I can do is say that if you eat too much redneck caviar, you'll eventually have a corker.
Yeah.
When it comes out the other end.
I don't want to be in the same room when that comes out. I'm telling you, not at all. Pork and chicken and whatever's off the floor, and then being through you. Anyway, let's move on.
Laurent, it was nice meeting you.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely, man.
Nice
Great
meeting
stuff.
you too.
Thank you, Laurent. And just out of interest, I'll show you the definition over here. We've got two definitions in the Outback Dictionary. One is a good stroke in cricket, which might be described as a corker of a shot. And the second one is something which surpasses all others in its field. And that, again, is based on a corker of a shot, hitting it out of the park, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a third one that something didn't. Then there's a third one when something didn't pass very well at all.
Yeah, a cork. That is.
Okay.
You know how the constipated mathematician worked it out, don't you, Lloyd? He worked it out with logs. Mm.
Logs, yeah. Yeah, a bit of a corker.
Okay, let's move on. Let me go and get...
Thank you.
I need to move on because otherwise I'm going to keel over.
Toilet humour can only last so long.
So our next one that we've got here is, well, we're going to go into the Raz. We've got a heated pool. La Palma, with a population of 85,000, is one of 8 volcanic islands in Spain's Canary Islands archipelago off the African west coast. At their nearest point, the islands are 60 miles from Morocco. Drone footage shown here shows some lava from Spain's La Palma volcano swallowing a swimming pool and some houses on the way to the coast on Monday. Now, I need some music to go with this. There we go.
Music? Man, look at it. You going to put the jazz with it?
No, not jazz for this one. This is the sad music button. But just check out this swimming pool being eaten. And then we've got another shot.
That's unbelievable.
There's another shot in a couple of moments which looks like this reservoir or dam, and just check this out. Now this is a steam bath if I've ever seen one.
Wow.
But we've seen a lot of volcano stuff this last 12 months, and certainly.
Do we know who shot that, Greg? Do we know where that came from?
I can tell you. Well, it's in the description for the video, but let me see if I can tell you the exact name.
You're going to reach out to them and have a talk to them. That'd be amazing to talk to someone on the ground who's flying around there. I mean, you have to think about where you're taking off from, don't you? You're thinking, well, I've got half an hour, and I might move on. Pretty serious.
The video footage came through a news agency, so I don't have the original pilot's details, unfortunately.
Oh, it'd be good to find. Yeah, for sure.
So let's move from that. Our next story is, look, I'll warn you to put on your tinfoil hat. We're going to go into politics. Are you ready, John?
Oh,
we're going to talk about an election, but it's okay. Don't worry. One-shot drone flights to advertise sports stadiums and pubs has become the norm. But who on earth thought we would ever see a one-shot FPV drone flight related to an election? When the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation CBC TV network kicked off their live coverage of the nation's hard-fought parliamentary election results this week, viewers on either side of the political aisle knew that they'd be in for some gripping moments before the night was over. Little did they suspect, however, that the tension and awe would begin from the outset, with this drone video flying through some pretty tight spaces in the CBC studios.
It is 6:30 p.m. Eastern in downtown Toronto, outside our CBC News election headquarters. For 36 days, you have heard the promises for your family, your community, your country, and your world. We are living through an unprecedented time, fighting a fourth wave of the pandemic. Now you get to make your choice about the future.
You know, it's been interesting looking at some of the earlier stuff that we've seen with these fly-throughs, but did you ever think you'd see an election fly-through?
It's actually a really good thing. I mean, and I think that if I had to vote, I'm going to vote for the pilot. Once again, I just think more and more adaptation. Now, that's an advertising agency that's chosen this, because normally any sort of political type campaign goes off to an advertiser, they brainstorm it, and they say, they sit around and say, hey, let's do one of those drone footages. Let's get one of these kind of amazing, because look, people can't take their eyes off it. Once you realize that you're flying around somewhere, most people will listen and pay attention. I mean, what's the choice here? You want to see a politician kissing babies, or do you want to see some really cool FTV? It's a no-brainer, isn't it? A no-brainer. Lloyd's with me. Yep, Lloyd's with me.
Okay,
so
definitely.
More of it. I want to, I see things like that. I mean, they're using it for car.
More drones, less politicians.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. I don't even care. I care what it's about. I just want to watch the footage.
Exactly.
I think it was a good hook at the beginning of their election coverage. I mean, let's pretend you're watching a really, really good program beforehand and you're still on the same channel. This is a hook to get you to actually keep watching, because as soon as the election comes on, everyone tunes out.
Well, it works for me. Yeah. It works for me.
Okay, we're going to move to our next story.
This is great. I've seen this one. This is a fantastic clip. Check this out, Lloyd. You're going to love this.
Now, drones have many functions: delivering coffee, helping with firefighting, inspecting structures, delivering medical supplies. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, here's one more idea on... Oops, I read the wrong story. My bad.
Raven, right?
Yeah, let's try again. It's nesting time. It's nesting time, and the birds have taken exception to a drone's daily coffee drop-off in Harrison. After the incident in this video, drone company Wing was forced to avoid parts of this Canberra suburb.
Not surprised. Watch this. This bird really has it in for the drone. Look at him. Watch this. He latches onto
over
it.
North Canberra, there's a battle for air supremacy. And Ben Roberts has a front row seat.
First few days it was just kind of swooping around it, but this time it really went on and just grabbed hold of it, and so I thought that was pretty good.
What he captured on camera was his coffee delivery being ambushed by a territorial raven. Fueled up on hormones, the bird's furious about the airspace incursion.
It's not to be unexpected, because ravens are particularly pugnacious, especially around the nest.
You see, in this raven haven, there are hungry mouths to feed, and everything can seem a threat.
I think I saw them sweeping a garbage truck the other day.
The drone delivery company says it's their first recorded mid-air stoush in 3 years of Canberra operations.
We've never had a report of a bird being injured by our drone.
Yeah, I think one of them just flew over just then. Seems totally fine.
After Ben's eagle-eyed observation, the company acted swiftly and plucked its aircraft out of the sky.
Where this particular customer had a delivery, we know this particular raven is, so we've suspended service there until...
We've got some very loud noise coming through one of your mics there.
The season is over and the bird won't be aggressive to either our drone again or garbage trucks or people.
There's growing evidence that birds and drones don't always share the skies well, especially at breeding time. But in this mid-air melee...
If you were to interview the birds today, Craig, I think you'd find that they felt that they'd won.
So home-delivered coffees off the menu, at least until this brood leaves the nest. Craig Allen, ABC News, Canberra.
So, yeah, we've seen many stories in the past about birds, and Ken's show is pretty famous for talking about birds, but...
yeah. Oh, also, they're quite dangerous. You know, if you... a lot of suburbs where the magpies, they're in season, you've got to wear a helmet sometimes when you go walking, and people do. They wear a helmet with the spikes on, and because the birds are just doing their thing. They if they think you're a threat. What do you think? Look.
Well, I got a question because they made the comment that birds and drones don't mix, especially during mating season. When exactly is mating season for drones? I got confused on that.
Well, we're about to have a new Mavic 3, so, we're about to have a new baby.
Oh, there you go. That explains it. It's mating season for the drones because we got the new Autel Evo thing coming out too. So, yeah, I guess it is mating season for the drones. My bad. I was just curious. Oh, and Wayne King, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, Wayne.
Wayne, let me have a look. I haven't got it on my screen. Can you put it up, Lloydie?
I would if the damn thing worked.
Oh, it was working before the show.
Well, it's not now.
Well, what did you do? Let me have a look here. Watch out for birds when you're flying your drone in Canberra, especially if it's a delivery drone. And look, you would have the solution for that, I'm sure, in the US, wouldn't you, Lloyd?
What's that? Yeah, exactly. That's the way we'd take care of
it. My producer is telling me something. Sorry. Oh, she was telling me to talk about the coin thing, and I pressed the ka-ching, and I already pressed it. There we go. Another ka-ching.
There you go. Another ka-ching.
Okay. Thank you for that, Wayne. And if anyone else wants to ka-ching, don't let me stop you. Our next story that I was getting confused with before. Drones may have many functions: delivering coffee, helping with firefighting, inspecting structures, delivering medical supplies. Just when you thought you'd seen it all, there's one more idea on the table. This drone can save lives. This EMS drone is designed to help people during cardiac emergencies. It's coming. So here's another would you ride it. Now, obviously, if you're having a cardiac emergency and they're going to go and pick you up by this drone in some sort of a sling underneath, it's probably lower risk if you're already half out of it, but it looks a bit scary.
I reckon I'd have a heart attack.
I was fixing to say that would give you a heart attack if you weren't already having one.
Thank you, Artco, for the thumbs up and for the $3 super sticker. I think that's my first super sticker. So they're also citing, it's a pretty powerful drone in terms of the lifting power, of being able to use it for firefighting as well, getting a hose up there, lifting all that water in the hose. You wouldn't ride it, Grumpy?
No way in Hades would I. Oh my God.
Parachuting.
No. Friggin' idiots are those.
I noticed the other day I was doing a bit of looking online at new motors, Greg, and the price of brushless motors is just dropping through the floor. I don't know whether it's related to the copper prices or what it is, but I found a 118 millimeter diameter heavy lift engine. That's just the batteries to drive that thing. That's a big engine. Where that would have been nearly $1,000. The other day I saw them for $325. So this is what we're coming up with. You're going to buy 8 of those, of course. You look at $2,500 for a power plant that'll lift you up in the air. That would have originally, cost you much more. So yeah, that's happening. I mean, there's going to be more and more people inventing and getting into this, and also the manufacturers are being encouraged and ramping up these things. So the big T motors are the most popular, and I can recommend, if you're going to fly in it, put a T motor on it. Japanese windings, it's certainly built to have some better specs. But there are lots of choices out there now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a look at a couple of would you write it type scenarios, and we've got one more to finish the show today, and it's titled "Don't Try This." But there's another subtitle that I think is appropriate. This is the Father of the Year award, perhaps. Well, we've seen some drone fail videos pop up on social media from time to time. Sometimes we get a good laugh out of the misfortune or sheer foolishness of hapless pilots. Other times we wonder out loud, what the hell were you thinking? Guess which category this gem fits in? The video Parent of the Year award, and that's what the video is titled, goes to the dad flying his kid on a giant drone has been getting some buzz on Reddit. The 50-second footage begins with a toothy kid explaining to us that he's wearing a helmet because things are about to get scary.
Oh, shoot. Wait, it's behind us. Okay, I gotta go.
Have you seen this, John?
No, I haven't. But see it you're going to see something new every day, aren't you? Look at that. Looks like an Argus.
Would you ride it?
Oh yeah.
You would do that?
Yeah, a couple of beers. A couple of beers. If Lloyd was asleep...
Hang on, keep watching.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh.
Can we play that video again? I want our audience to watch it very, very carefully.
And thank you, Ken Heron.
Oh. Mr. Ken Heron. Greg is the bestest. Who dares to match my super chat? Oh, here we go. We've got a super chat chain. We don't have a train. We need to have a chain and link them all together.
So he flies him over the fence, right?
Flies in over the fence.
Can we see what happens to the aircraft?
So I can tell you what happens. The Reddit people have dissected this in minute detail. The motor literally exploded. It overheated and melted, and there was a failure in the motor. The shrapnel from the motor went and hit another prop, which flew off.
Ooh, there he goes. And he's gone down.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. That's an engine failure.
You know the really sad thing?
What?
Is those two kids there are proof that that man did breed and he shouldn't have.
Yeah,
oh,
they're going to do it one day.
Hang on. I've got to get it out. Now, Ken's got his train. I don't have a train. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to copy him. I'll get a... There we go. We're going to have a super chat chain. We can rattle the chains. No? It's my producer's looking at me and saying it's corny. Okay, no chains. So thank you to Drone Rob, who I haven't met before. I'm in. Thank you to Ken Heron. Greg is the bestest. Who dares to match his super chat? And to Artco for your $3 super chat. And of course, Wayne, watch out for birds flying when your drone's in Canberra, especially if it's a delivery drone. Yay, Drone Rob. Anyone else? Would the ATSB, would it be reportable to the ATSB? There's a question for you, John.
Absolutely. Well, there's no failure of the aircraft, but in a commercial operation like that, we're talking about wing there.
No. This is no. So this is back to the kid under the drone. There was definitely a failure.
They're not going to report that. They've got no column for stupid. So I mean, you
That
don't,
would be
because you've got to
ATSB
describe
or
how the incident
FAA.
happened.
Yeah.
So you imagine how the
Well,
first sentence is going to read, Lloyd. You're going to say, "Well, there I was. I got my big ass drone, and I put a helmet on my kid because I wanted to be safe, and I put a helmet on my kid, and I was flying him around, and I had an engine failure." I mean,
well,
hang on. I've got to stop you there. I've got to stop you there. Northern Tier FPV, great show, guys. I'm in. Thank you. Do I get the chains back out?
All right.
Maybe I've got to just get the chains out and lock yous all in here, and you can just keep on super chatting all day.
I think that's an FAA reportable violation, is what it is, and I think that's what Trevor was meaning. It's definitely reportable. I mean, we all know several people who are in the drone community that's gotten reported for their stupidity, and this obviously child endangerment. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons that guy's going to be in some deep oopoo if somebody reports it to the right agencies.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'd love to play the clip one more time. Sorry, John. And I'll tell you why. I want to play it one more time. And I want those people who are watching here today to listen to the kids talking and the accent of the kid and the father. I'm going to turn it up as loud as we can. And tell me, where do you think they're from? Is it an Australian or is it a US-based video? Let's watch again.
My helmet is on is because you're about to see, because it's about to get scary. Oh, shoot, wait, it's behind us.
What do you think, Australian or US?
they sound Australian. I don't think it really matters, Greg. There are stupid people everywhere.
That's US, but
I think it's US.
I think it's in the United States.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's listen after it crashes. Oh, Trevor, the chain continues. Here we go.
You can see the motor file.
Yeah, that's an American accent. Only in America.
No, unfortunately, that's not true. Here's the thing, the sad part about that is that most people then watching that think that we all do that. We're all idiots, and even though I said after a couple of beers I'd have a go, it's something I wouldn't want to put out on video. I mean, how did they? Obviously, the dad decided to post it too, which is kind of interesting. Or someone posted it. Maybe the young sister did.
Can I interrupt again?
Yes.
Trevor Fuss, the chain continues. Thank you, Mr. Trevor. Appreciate it.
The dog is American. Yeah, it does look like looks like a. I forgot what kind of a cattle dog, but. Idiot kills drone. Yeah. Put that up there.
Well, we could have the debate, Roy. Do you reckon your idiots are better than our idiots?
Just look at the last election.
I'm asking an expert here. I want to know someone with experience.
All I can say is just look at the last election and where we are now, and that should pretty well answer that question. We beat you 10-1 on stupidity in this country right now.
Absolutely. Okay, I get it. Yep, I can't agree with you there.
That doesn't count the other stupid things we do. I mean, we call this stuff redneck caviar.
Yeah,
makes it. It's actually pretty good stuff.
We eat Vegemite. I mean, we got that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do some stupid stuff.
We do stupid stuff all around the world, but speaking of stupid, we're stupid enough to still be here when we've already reached our time for the day. It's after 12 o'clock. We've had a lot of fun, as always. Let me put up a couple of community service announcements. Number one, if you want to send us some information, send it to upload@gregkuhnert.com. Viewer videos, news tips, anything you like, send it there. Follow us on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, DLive, or pretty much all of those kind of social platforms. Or if you want to send anything, send it to 5/127 Princess Highway, Sylvania, New South Wales, 2224. Now, I see, Lloyd, that you've got someone who wants to have the last word. So let's do that right now.
Hello, Ken here, and how you doing? I knew this would just freak you out, so I thought I'd come on. How you doing, Ken? Anyways, nice show tonight, or this evening, or today, your time, and just be kind to everybody, all right? So we'll catch y'all later. See you, Ken.
Okay.
Bye, John.
Thanks for that, Grumpy and Grandpa Joe. Johnny, last words from you.
Yeah, thanks again. Great show today, everyone. Great guest. Some really good footage, and even the stupid stuff was funny and good to watch today. Thanks to everyone who contributed to the show. That means a lot. I can say it on behalf of Greg, because he puts a lot of time and money into getting the tech right, and you know, it's that little bit of encouragement more than anything else means a lot to us here at OzByDrone. So thanks, everybody. I'm going off to fly my new aeroplane today. So
oh, and one last thing before we go. We've been talking about the giveaway of the NoLimitDrones Wi-Fi signal booster.
Yep.
I've been trying to get in touch with Coldflake. He's been difficult to reach. Don't know what the issue is over there at the moment, but it's a bit flaky, yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. And Ken, I hope you're still watching, because I don't want to give away the additional one today until I speak to him. But to get a few more people into the competition, it's still open on my channel, but I'm going to invite anyone who wants to also enter this competition. Ken, I hope you're listening, to also enter via Ken's channel. And we're going to give away a few $100 worth of equipment. So I hope, Ken, we can talk after the show. I forgot to talk to you about it before. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'm Greg. This has been OzByDrone. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Take care. See you, Grumps.
We'll see you. Have a good weekend, folks.
Bye, safe.